Atlanta is really out here trying to give us a freaking heart attack when it concerns Al. Every single episode with him so far involves him maybe, just maybe, getting away with his life. I can't take it. Stop. Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Atlanta season 4 episode 9, Andrew Waite, Alfred's World. Now before we get into all things tractors and hogs, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss. Did y'all see how the hog came at Al? I was literally jumping out of my chair like it was a dangerous situation. I need you to get out of there.
Go back.
Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this episode. Now I'm sure, like myself, you guys zoned in on Andrew Waite, and if you didn't know who he was, went to see how he would be represented in this episode. I didn't know who he was, but looking him up, he was a painter, a realist painter, whose subjects as an artist were often the people around him, the land that surrounded him. He was all about making his paintings look as truthful and as real as possible. Now, the painting that he is most famous for, Christina's World, is all up and through this episode. It's a depiction of a woman laying in this field. There's all this wide open space. There's a farmhouse. Even in the midst of looking at his other paintings, they're all done in the same painting style. And then you get this sense of isolation because you're in this deep rural countryside that is just massive. And then there is this singular person there, whether it's, a close-up, they're in the farmhouse, they're wherever, it's normally just one person. And you can see that very present here with Al. There are other things here that I felt like Al had in common with Andrew Waite, or even was trying to have in common, because Andrew Waite, especially within his childhood, courtesy of his father, he was really sheltered and had to be restricted to this farm living. He was forced to be really close with his family. They were sort of kind of isolated by themselves. He was homeschooled and just had a really sheltered life. And I felt like Al was trying to get some of that. Like, I want to get away from everything. We have all been very present throughout every single season with everything that has ever happened to Al, for him to maybe at this point consider going to that safe farm, especially after the escapade shooting we went on with the Crank That Killer episode. I also thought that there was one more parallel with the way that Andrew Waite's father died. Their car stalled on some train tracks near their home, and they got stuck on the tracks and got struck and died that way. I saw some parallels between that and the way that Al was handling that tractor. Now we start off this episode with like a good nigga, safe farm is there. We are on our safe farm. Unlike the Al that we left in the Crank That Killer episode, we know towards the end of that episode, he absolutely saw the value in what it could mean to just disconnect, get away from everything and everyone, and just take a break. Not only is he on this safe farm, but he is doing some full-blown target practice with some mystical in the background. I don't know why. The whole scenario just gave me, I make a motherfucker sing, oh yeah, I'm cold as a lion with no hair. If you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear, cause that bitch gon' need it. Hey, cause I'm home and greeted. Give me that goddamn porridge. And I ain't even go eat it. Like, Al said this will be the last time anybody will be able to just roll up on me. I'm about to start protecting myself. I'm having a good old time with that gun in the forest. And I'm like, oh, but we are wearing Gucci flip-flops in this rural farm country ass area. Just when I thought we were maybe making progress with Al on this safe farm, he's isolated, he's alone, he can breathe, he's growing weed, the same thing that we saw him doing in the Crank That Killer episode. He's protecting himself, he's doing the target practice, but something about those Gucci flip-flops and him ignoring Al's phone calls and texts, along with hearing songs about death throughout the episode. We hear things like "My mind is playing tricks on me." There's a song later on with Andre 3000 saying "I don't want to die." We were not out of the woods yet. No pun intended. Now, not only do we have these songs about death playing throughout the episode, but the local little market, the store, the little clerk and whatnot, everybody in there had me shook for Al. Not only do we have him being watched, but we are in this rural country area. We see Confederate flags. We don't call the police signs are posted, aka we just shoot niggas and ask questions later. It just felt like a very unsafe situation. Between the chewing tobacco and Al realizing that there is some type of animal breaking into his little greenhouse area where he is growing his weed, doing a wonderful job. I was like, look at Al and all his weed. We're gonna get into Al living his best life on this farm. But between that and him going back to this store clerk to inquire about what exactly is breaking in here, what do I need to do, and the conversation that they had and how he expressed his disdain for the hog and what Al needed to do exactly to kill it, lure it out, trap it, shoot it down, walk up on it, get a clear headshot. They don't deserve any sympathy. They are invasive, aggressive destroyers. Kill them before they kill you. What kind of hog or animal are you referring to, sir? Because it really low-key sounds like you talking about something else. Right out of the gate, with not only the store clerk expressing to Al just how vicious and unruly these hogs can be, you really need to take this serious. We get into the common thread in the episode, or just period. This is how Al is. He never really takes anything serious. He never really listens to anybody. Not only is Al on this farm living his best life, we are able to disconnect from everyone and everything, even Ern for a little while. We're going to talk about that too later, and why he is disconnecting from Ern and how he is going about it. We are able to do target practice, grow our weed. He was getting his life working on that damn tractor. The little YouTube video, these backhoes ain't loyal, that shit was funny. But I have never seen Al work this hard. When I tell you Al was working hard to get that tractor up and running, get the materials that he needed to fix the greenhouse for his weed, I have never seen him this dedicated to anything, especially when it comes to that tractor. The liberation that he felt, the happiness and the joy when he finally got that tractor up and running, even if that involves putting my hands on a rat to get this bad boy up and running, he was doing the work. But even though we were doing the work in some ways, in a lot of ways we weren't. We have gotten all the way out here and isolated ourselves, not realizing that this could be just as unsafe as how things were moving in Atlanta. Not only are we here where, if a tree falls, is anybody around to hear it? It's just going to be Al, because he's the only one there. We want everything really quick and really easy. Oh, you don't have any skillets in the back. You know what? Fine. We already knew that Al was going to order that good old skillet off of Amazon, because why not? I want things quick. I came all the way out here, but I don't even have the proper footwear. I'm walking around out here dangerous in fucking Gucci flip-flops. Absolutely not. Even though we have done the work reinforcing our greenhouse to keep the hogs away, but we don't really take it that serious. Isn't there just some repellent I could put down? Can I just spray some stuff? I don't really want to have to protect myself. What are they really capable of? He is not taking it serious that these hogs are capable of killing. Even though this man has said it, he continues to laugh. That good old Al laugh that we hear when he's like, yeah, nigga, whatever. Just like all the other scenarios that we have saw Al get into where he did not take things serious, even though his life was clearly in jeopardy. Hell, the Crank That Killer episode, we went through all of that in the mall. Once we got back to the spot with Darius and Ern, how was your day? What happened today? Oh, some nigga back. It's always nothing. I'm just chilling. Nothing is wrong when there is absolutely something wrong. The store clerk was not over-exaggerating about this hog. None of the people who have tried to kill you every single season were exaggerating. You have to start protecting yourself. And this was probably the first episode where we really saw him be forced to do that. Because when we fell asleep watching Animal Planet, I don't know what the hell that is, but I think we saw baby chick, baby whatever, really just plunged to his own death, you know, foreshadowing what was going to happen with that tractor, all on his very own, just went off the cliff. But when we woke up, the whole cart that we were dragging around from the store to the barn for supplies was completely totaled. We was gone. And you gonna act like those hogs couldn't do any damage. Crazy. Now, the entire situation with Al and the tractor was really scary. There were a lot of scenarios here that just made, you know, a couple of hairs stand up, because it was like, wow. He was so happy in that moment to get that tractor going. Like, we like, yeah, Al, like, and it's just like, whoa. That whole scenario, it just almost looked like he was setting himself up to die. Like the way that it got stuck kind of on that incline about to fall over, the way that he kind of positioned himself under it. Of course, we know that it was an accident, and I don't think he thought the weight like it was gonna, but it came down. Like, I just felt like it was a whole metaphor for the way that his life has been going, you know, him kind of just setting himself up. Thank goodness, you know, he wasn't completely crushed, and it was just his foot, which looked absolutely painful. But we have to sit there with him like there is nobody anywhere. He is just as unsafe as he was when he was Atlanta, only now there is nobody around to help him, so he is forced to really get himself up. And I do mean get himself up, like he literally crawls and grovels all the way from where he was in the tractor all the way back to the house. I love when the goddamn Amazon was there to deliver that skillet and she just threw it on the porch and was like, you know, Amazon will throw your shit on the porch. The pain that Al must have felt having to crawl all the way back there, the humbling that he must have felt having to crawl all the way back there on all fours on his belly like some wounded animal. To say I was relieved when he finally made it back to the porch. It was like, whew, he is finally there. They said, fuck that, fuck all of that, wake back up because the hogs are here. The fact that I didn't like look up the hogs when the store clerk mentioned them. I really don't look up anything until the show is over. But the fact that those hogs were black, it just felt like, oh, the niggas done rolled up. It just looked like some niggas, the same way those dudes rolled up, you know, during the robbing season, and you know they were trying to take Al's chain. Like it just looked like a couple of niggas had rolled up, and then it just made me think about the store clerk. You know, they don't deserve any mercy. They, you know, all they do is take. You know, you need to get them before they get you. Just this whole mentality, and those hogs being black just had me like, oh. The way that hog sized him up and came at him, I was so scared. Like, I don't know why they do this. Atlanta has had us on the edge of our seats concerning Al's life and whether or not he is gonna make it. Just like in the mall, they managed to do it again. I was so scared for Al. That thing was vicious. And Al was wounded, weak, and already exhausted from having to crawl back. I was like, all right, this is it. Really miss my nigga. I didn't know what was gonna happen. But this is the first time that he is forced to fight. I realized in that moment, unlike all the other times where he was just pretty much able to run for his life, he couldn't run this time. Like, he really had to fight. Not, you know, no weapons, no anything. Well, you know, not the gun, but he had to use his resources. Not only did he have to physically fight for his life, but he had to use just a bare ass skillet to beat this hog into submission. Like, oh my goodness, I was so scared for him. But when we crawl all the way back in the house after the day, the night, the evening that we have had, we answered the phone finally from Ern and go, oh, you know, what's good, it's cool, you know, a nigga like me, I'm just chilling. You sound tired. Oh no, I'm good. Must we continue and go on with this facade acting like you are okay? Al, you are not okay. Between Al and Ern, I don't know who has the harder time just being vulnerable. I don't think Ern has said anything about, you know, that great venting therapy session that we were in. Now, of course, he was getting clowned by Al, you know, for even going to therapy and wasting his money. But the whole scenario with Kristen and what happened, I don't think he shared that at all. And, you know, in turn, we also have Al here. Oh yeah, nigga, I'm good. You know, just a little situation at the mall. It's nothing. Or, you know, I'm just here, you know, at the like, I was hoping that we would leave off with Al just, finally opening up and really telling him, this is what's going on here. This is what's, happening to me. Not only here on this farm, but just in my life in general. I'm not okay. I'm not safe. I'm feeling insecure. And, a lot of shit is problematic for me. That's why I came here in the first place. We are not saying any of that. We are just, leaving it at a simple, I'm tired. I'll call you tomorrow. The same way that Ern had to be vulnerable with Van to get her to go with him to LA and really express his true feelings for her, instead of just saying, what's so great about here that you can't go? Like, why don't you just go? And really having to get in her face and yell, pretty much, I love you from the mountaintops. I see you as more than just, my baby mama. I was hoping that we would get something like that from Al. But the fact that we didn't, and we have him just, disclosing certain things, oh, this and that happened, but he's not really saying out of his mouth how endangered his life was. And we even have Ern go, hey, if you don't want to be there, you don't have to be there. You gotta, think smart and be safe. If something happens, there's nobody around. He's like, yeah, duly noted. I bet it is. But not only do we not have that happen, but we have him pretty much have that same mentality that he always has, laughing stuff off, not listening, not taking anything serious. Yeah, Al, you're feeling what? You're probably sunburned. How long were you out there? Man, yeah, black niggas don't get sunburned. Like Wesley Snipes, I love how he had his little Wesley Snipes Nino Brown shirt on when that tractor fell on his ass. Like, he couldn't possibly, I'm too dark for that. What about Seal? What about, no, we are capable of, getting sunburned, just like white people are capable of being ashy. Will you listen to me? And he just ignores him, and they, go off into, their normal, conversation. He has his feet up, but we don't really have any progression as far as him really being vulnerable and saying that I need help and I'm not okay. But we end off the episode with a Ray Charles song, I believe, and he's saying, don't let the sun catch you crying. Like, once again, we are not, don't let these niggas catch you out here trying to be vulnerable. Nigga, I'm okay. I almost died last night. A hog almost killed me. A tractor fell on my foot. Somebody tried to kill me in the mall. No, don't let the sun catch you crying. Like, keep that all bottled up and keep it to yourself. It is so freaking dangerous. Y'all, the season about to be over. The season is about to be over. And when I tell you, I am so hurt for that. Now, episode 10 is titled, It Was All a Dream. Keep on playing. It better not be all a dream. Like, I have read you guys' comments. I read every single comment and I appreciate them. But I have seen the comments stating that you guys feel like this is all going to be a surreal dream-like sequence situation. And Ern is going to wake back up on the bus next to Bean Pie, bruh. Better not. Like, I would hate for us to go out that way. I don't even know what that looks like. We have come so far and did so much with our characters for it was all a dream. Don't Biggie Smalls us. Don't Notorious B.I.G. us. We have worked too hard to get here. Don't do that. Well, you guys, that was my review for Atlanta season 4 episode 9. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop down and leave me some comments like, yo, this it. We're not gonna get no more. We ain't got nothing. We don't have nothing. Like, I really love all the, subjects that this show brings up, everything that they are able to implement in a 30-minute episode. Like, it's just a conversation starter, and we don't have many things like that. But I look forward to reading you guys' comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I see you guys next time. Bye.